sister because they stem from a different embryonic origin. So every living organism on the planet has melanin. There's nothing on the planet that doesn't have melanin. Every single thing that is, in order for you to be alive, you need melanin to be able to perceive sound. You need melanin to be able to even give off a hue for you to even be seen. You need melanin to be able to interact with the sun. The type of melanin you have is explaining the type of DNA that you have. And your DNA is phenotypically expressing that you stem from the embryological origin of a so-called black woman. When we look at these other people that are out, these albino Dravidians and everybody else, that is a genetic mutation expressing from an excessive amount of allelic genes. That's not the same expression. So looks can be deceiving when you don't understand DNA. Evolution is genotypic. You have to understand what's taking place on a genotypic level to actually understand why the organism is the way that it is.
Yep, and the white T man, he comes from the Dravidian man. That he's an albino of a Dravidian man. He doesn't come from the albino or the so-called albino of our people. So I just wanted to say that as well.
Yeah, so yeah, y'all, there's that. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, and I wanted to add that if you was to do a brain scan, your brain will look just like every other so-called black person's brain right now. You will have the same jet black substantia niagara that's functioning all of your cells right now. So there's no way that you can say that you have no melanin. You have a
I
substantia
don't have
niagara
any
full of
melanin.
neuromelanin, and
Melanin is brown pigment.
the neurocrest is the first cell that forms inside of the mother's womb, and every other cell that comes after that comes from that.
Melanin. Melanin is brown pigment. I have no brown pigment, period.
Melanin is not brown pigment. That's what
That's
I was
exactly
explaining.
what the
No,
melanin
it's
is.
not. And
Melanin is
again,
brown pigment.
it depends on which
Typically, people with
melanin.
albinism do not have brown pigment. However, what y'all don't understand is the albinism is it's 7 different genes that are affected that create albinism. All of those are related to producing pigment. Yes, pigment is required to develop the eyes and stuff like that. I don't know anything about sound or anything. I know it specifically affects the vision because the eyes can have a rerouting of the optic nerve, and they can have the underdeveloped pigment in the lens is what allows light to pass through the eyes and reflect. If you don't have that solid pigment, you're not reflecting a clear vision. So it's not the same as what you're saying. What I'm saying is albinism affects every culture, ethnicity, and background. And you can find that it can look exactly the same across all ethnicities. It can even function the same as far as DNA goes because it's a recessive gene that only becomes dominant when it meets a copy of itself. So you don't have like a TY negative person and a TY positive person creating another person with albinism. Typically, they create a person with normal pigment. So it's not the same. The only point that I was making is that it's a recessive gene and it becomes dominant when there's another to couple with it. It does not become dominant without another of itself.
Correct.
It's not primarily dominant.
You stem from your mother's embryological origin. So regardless of what
it's mother
can I
and
just
father.
respond to you? Can I just respond to
It's
you for a
mother and
second?
father
Can
for
I just respond to
TY
you for a
positive.
second, please? Can I just respond to you for a second, please? Because if both of your parents are both so-called black, he gets his genetics from his mother. The embryonic origin is within the woman of the species. So
That's only for X-linked albinism.
Can I please respond to you, please? I just want to say something to you. I just want to respond to what you just said. Because regardless of what they're calling it, it is a physical representation of what's taking place within that genome. So we don't see any so-called albino brothers and sisters with hair like YT people.
Yes,
We
we
don't see
do.
them. Their hair
Yes,
doesn't
we
fall.
do.
Their
I
hair
know
doesn't.
them.
Hold on for a
I can
second.
show
Their
you
hair.
the
Can I
people.
respond to you at all? Their hair does not produce the same animal proteins and enzymes and fall down to the ground like YT people.
Yes, it does.
Those are not, look, you got to show them to me because look, I can show you some. I'm going to put some on the screen for you. Give me a second.
And the thing
Because
is,
all our hair still points towards the sun. It could be blind, but it's going to be 4C and blind.
literally,
If it's our people that have blue eyes, it's gonna be she left. That's cool. I didn't take her off. If it's our people with blue eyes, they don't have animal hair. They're not being born with cow patches. They don't have hypertrichosis too. They don't have vestigial tails too. Because it's not an expression of animal DNA. It's an expression of what's within her genome, which is neuromelanin, which there are 48 different expressions of that. These other people have introgress genes. So when you see genetic mutations, it's for that reason. It's a different genome.
yep. And I had to take her off because she couldn't stop talking when she was talking. I'm like, she can't even get a sentence out because you keep trying to cut her off. I grew up around albinos as well. So what you classify albinos as well, all over in Cameroon. All of their hair was pointing towards the sun. None of their hair came out like dog. None of their hair. So you telling me I've seen it? I've seen albinos too,
Me too.
and I know you're not wearing your ether on your profile. That's not yours. I know that your real ether grows towards the sun. I know that substantia niagara is jet black.
Yeah, I just want to put some examples on the screen because I just don't want there to be any type of confusion. You see what I'm saying? This right here, this is not our people. Clearly, that's not our people. That woman back there is a hybrid. The woman that's doing the hair is a hybrid. That so-called albino child right there is a byproduct of hybridization. That's not our origin, okay? But if I show you something like this, though. Hold on for a second. Because people keep trying to, that's the lady in the picture in the Eve gene. So we got to talk about that because this same lady is the lady in the picture of the Eve gene theory, by the way. And that is not a so-called black woman. That's a hybrid. Give me 1 second, please. Damn, I got a lot of pictures. Okay, but this right here, though, that child right there, you can tell that that's one of our children.
Exactly. Look, where's the hair pointing up to?
Why his hair still expresses just like ours, regardless of the shade. What's his embryonic origin? What melanin makes up the hair? That's a completely different expression from what I just showed you. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I want our people to not, let's not get that, you know what I'm saying? Let's not get that fucked up, right? I actually have, I can't put that one up because that will get the live flagged, but I think y'all get the picture that there's two different types of expressions, all right? So.
And the fact that you're saying that we're all one human race and we all came out of Africa, you would classify their albinos as us. That's why you're saying you've seen albinos with straight hair. So that's why you're not getting it. We're talking about the nucleus or the nucleoid region, the different types of melanin.
Okay, so AB, evolution, the biggest lie ever told using science. How do you feel about the prompt? Okay, I think it's something going on with his mind. Maya Rose, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt?
I agree with it 100%. I don't believe Darwin knew what he was talking about. He was just making up things to try to fit a certain narrative. And I can't stay for long. But I did want to come up here and I wanted to thank you, host, for debunking the lies, the lies that have been told for hundreds and hundreds of years. And thank you for educating, because science is important. Science is 100% important. And, it should be told the way it's supposed to be told and not off fabricated lies or theories or anything like that. So I 100% respect what you're doing. Thank you for, revealing these lies and exposing the truth. But I gotta go. I gotta drop. I actually gotta go do something. But I just wanted to hop up here real quick and just let you know.
Gratitude, my sister. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
No, thank you. Keep doing what you do, please.
Gratitude. All right. So I'm going to move to AB, and then I want to get to Draco. All right. Somebody said we aren't all Africans. What do y'all mean by that? I just want to see, what do y'all mean by that when y'all say that? AB, you're on mute. Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt? You're on mute. AB.
I was just listening. I like the way you talking and everything. I just wanted to listen. That's all. I'm learning.
Okay, did you mean to request up or was it an accident? Okay. Draco for president. Were you disagreeing earlier in the comments, or what was going on?
No, I was agreeing with you. Evolution is most definitely the biggest lie ever told. There is 100% a difference between white people and black people, and you already explained it, so it's really no need for me to get up here and backtrack what you just said. So,
okay, I got you. I wasn't for sure. I was kind of confused in the comments. Okay, gratitude. All right, so yeah, y'all. I don't think there's anybody else in here that is requesting up that disagrees with the prompt. There is 114 people in here. Are these all 114 people that agree with the prompt? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? Like, if you agree, can you scientifically explain why you agree? User, did you mean to request up? Maybe it was a mistake. Tata, did you mean to request up? All right, so if nobody wants to add to the topic, then I guess I'm gonna either restart or come back later. But evolution is the biggest lie ever told, because we didn't go from haploids to diploids of a different species. The so-called black woman doesn't create these other people. We've never seen it, and we don't see it today. It's never been genetically proven that we have created these other people, because right now in evolution, they're trying to say that the monkeys is us, and that's what a lot of our people don't understand. They're trying to say that the Australopithecus or the Homo erectus is us, and that we created these people over time. And when they're showing you in a diagram of a so-called YT man, they're showing that nature selected him and he is the most fit to survive for this environment. And we know damn well that these people struggle under the sun every day. How well your genetics, how well you are able to adapt to this environment is based off of the genetics that you have. If you are unable to adapt completely through biosynthesization and through black body radiation, not just solar radiation, but terrestrial radiation, if you cannot synthesize all forms of radiation, you are not natural to this planet. This is not just about everybody that's outside of us. This also goes for cats. This also goes for dogs. This also goes for mosquitoes. Mosquitoes need blood from other organisms in order to have children. Everything that has introgress genes does not belong on this planet. If you share DNA and genetic material from other organisms, that is unnatural. That's never been genetically or biologically proven for my people, because we are 100% of the organism that we are, which is neuromelanin, which is the same thing that scientists are saying is the fabric of the universe. And I'm not making that shit up. Like I said, all my books are pinned on my page because Dr. N.C. Brown proved that neuromelanin is the core of consciousness, and it's not just found in our brains, it's also found in the biosphere. It's also found in the ionosphere. It's also at etheric particles. The deoxyetheric acid, the DEA, that a lot of people be talking about is really neuromelanin, which is the only biochemical substance that is condensed sunlight, and it can condense sunlight, right? It's condensed in its composition and it will condense. So this is the reason why there's several scientists out there that'll prove to you that you can't genetically engineer so-called black people because the morphic resonance, the neuromelanin, does not allow for it. In order to create a pore formation on a cell, you need electroporation. You need UV light to create just a single pore formation, right? Because I hope y'all don't think that like splicing cells is like how they show you like in cartoons where they like have like this big ball and they like slice it down the middle with a laser. That's not how introgression is. It can barely be done. You see what I'm saying? You need if you think about the pores on your skin and you think about something as small as a cell, you can't even see it with the naked eye. All it takes is for a single pore formation, a tiny little poke of genetic material, and you are now a completely different species. There's different ways that you can hybridize genes, right? Electroporation, which is UV, magnetofection. You can also use sound, which is called cell sonication, sonoporation, transfection. This has been taking place for more than 600,000 years on this planet. You see what I'm saying? So, kid, let me see. Okay, I think that was... So these people say, oh, I have to say you sound smart, but you have no idea. See, they can only insult. I would never tell someone how they sound if I had never looked at the research myself. That's how I know that their frontal lobes is underdeveloped. Because why would you speak on something you don't know anything about? How could I sound smart or illiterate to you when you don't even know? You see how they show their hand? These people are not, that's why I say scientists are saying that these people are not producing neuromelanin in any ventricle in the brain because they're born with their pineal glands calcified. What's my source for that? Why Darkness Matters written by 4 BOK neuroscientists. Even the animals that y'all share DNA with are born with their pineal glands calcified. The chimpanzee, mice, sheep, goats. They don't begin to produce the in vitro version of neuromelanin until ages 5. So if it's not congenital for you, how do you begin to reproduce it at a later time in your life? Questions that need answers. The bottom line is nature don't put celery, potatoes, dogs, and cats together to create y'all. Y'all better stop lying on my mother, man. Stop lying. Our women don't create y'all because it is genetically and biochemically impossible for a neuromelanated woman to create an in vitro pheomelanated child. It's not within our genome. It's not present. Somebody said, do you know raccoons are changing into house pets? But did their genetics change? Are they still a raccoon? Okay, if they're still a raccoon, then they're still a raccoon. Them changing into house pets means that they're losing physical traits because they're relying on another species. That's adaptation. They're adapting to their environment. That's not evolution. Right. Somebody said, so how did YT come to be? How do you think they came to be? I just told you. You see how... I just told you that introgression, that they have introgress genes. I just explained to you the different types of hybridization.
They're genetically spliced into existence. A eukaryotic cell means a true seeded nucleus. Somebody did somatic nuclear transfer to transfer them into existence via different genetics, different molecules, using viruses, bacteriophages. This is how it was done. This is on the Sumerian tablets.
Yeah, they're so-called humans are taking them in as domesticated animals, and their life expectancy is going down because they're being fed food against their genetics and anatomy, against their biology. So that's not evolution. That's a win-lose. That's a parasitism symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, nature.
That's a commensalistic. That's not a mutual symbiotic relationship. That's when it's evolution.
Nature didn't naturally uproot that house into existence. She didn't naturally make that trash can right there. She didn't unnaturally. She didn't naturally make those biological agents that's in the food that's in the trash can for those raccoons to eat. Humans did that, and their creators did that.
Somebody said, in college, I examined inner chink cells of myself and found no nucleus. Let me see. Are you so-called BLK? You see what I'm saying? You're saying that adaptation drives evolution, but how come we're not driven to the same singular point if we're the same species? Lots of yapping. You know what? It's 82 people in here and nobody want to come up to the panel.
They're all scared to talk.
Yeah, they don't want to.
They want to type little ass sentences and think they're right. That's it.
Jay, how do you feel about the prompt?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you, 1000%. I definitely see that you done your research. You know, when this jab had came out, I was listening to how, you know, Bill Gates and those people were trying to manipulate DNA, and I just heard you say UV light, and a lot of people don't understand that the Lucifer race that's in the mRNA shots, I think it's SM02, whatever, but that's the technology that it uses. It uses that light, and like you said, we're not susceptible to that. Not to say that it can't injure us, but you know, as far as what they want to get done with the shot, as far as the transhumanism part about it, we're not susceptible to that. And you know, as far as you know, so-called white folks and their origin, you know, I've been researching or trying to study, you know, where they come from for a long time, because they want the world to believe that it's this mystery of where man come from, but it's not a mystery where we come from. You know, even like with the caveman agenda and things like that, that's them trying to insert themselves into the human gene pool, because they're not, you know, original to this earth as far as what my understanding is. And just one more thing before I get a mic up. When you look at all of the ancient Sumerians, when you look at any ancient group of people, even Enoch, when they were speaking of Noah, the first albino, still Negroid, black man, his father was scared of him because Methuselah said that Enoch resembled the sons of the God of the heaven, not the sons of God that's in the heaven, but sons of God of the heaven, the ones who came down. So these people got a very mystical seed line. Some of us admix with them, and that's gonna be what it is. There's nothing I can really say or do about that. But all of them are not, I guess, racist, but the majority of them is. Some of them can come into the truth and understand, that they are hybrid. Most can't. Most, have this superiority about them. And, me and my wife and my kids, we was just at the water the other day. And, they were staring at us. And, I kept wondering, like, why are they staring at us like that? And it was a melanin jealousy. They were mad that we could endure this great light of energy called the sun and, get so much from it. And they couldn't. I realized that I wouldn't even call it jealousy. It was at all. They were at all. They wished that they could do that without sustaining injury. So basically I agree with everything you're saying, sis. I feel like they are at rule right now. They are ruling right now. Their time has to be fulfilled. They are in charge. They will be judged by the how they rule, shall we say. And once that time is fulfilled, I feel like even right now in Africa, I see a great awakening, especially from a brother called Abraham over there. It's a great awakening. Things are going to change, and the world is going to go into chaos when it changes. Because one more thing I want to say real fast. The New World Order is the European takeover of the melanin man using Luciferianism. That's what I want everybody to understand, that this new world, they are from the new world. They not from the old world. The old world is us, melaninated people. We can go to, a lot of white people get mad when I say, if we check the real history records, Germany, France, wherever you want to say, they were, melaninated people right here. All these kings and queens of European descent that you see, they robbers. They're not the original. And this new world order is them being in control, being in power, but Satan is their God. That's what I came up with at the end of the day. Whether somebody believe in Satan or not, that's cool. But what I'm saying is that this spirit of darkness that these European Freemasons talk of, that are running things right now, that is who they feel is their master and who they get their power from. And, the New World Order is the European takeover of the world, of the original indigenous people of the world until their time are fulfilled. That's all. Thank you.
So I get where you're coming from. I would just say keep learning about your melanin and keep learning about your DNA, because these people have no hope. You see what I'm saying? This is a solar radiated planet. You see what I'm saying? Terrestrial radiation is also increasing as well. We can see that pouring in to the planet. We can see that the ozone layer is peeling back. More interstellar gases and nanodiamonds are pouring into this planet. To believe that these people are superior and that they have conquered you makes no sense to me. You see what I'm saying? Because you're the one that's actually fit to be on this planet and they're not. The amount of consciousness you have is dependent upon your genetic expression and your genes. How well are you able to interact and be in harmony with your environment? That's what evolution is about. And these people don't have the same consciousness because they don't have a morphic resonance, because they are not composed of atoms. They break down to calcium ionospheres. they're not composed of the same biochemical substances that we are. So they're not supposed to be on the planet. I heard what you said about the old world, new world. Religion keeps you in a sort of psychosis from really seeing the truth that these people don't belong on the globe, period, and they are not supposed to be here. They are here to test you with your knowledge of self. And this is depicted in stone. This is depicted in the Sumerian text. You know what I'm saying? The Sumerian tablets, that they have a creator, right? So these people can never be above or below you. They are not you. They're not even a comparison. I wouldn't compare hippos to rhinoceros because they're not the same species. It would be no point in me doing that.
Why do you think they were in awe to see you in the sun? Because you undergo black body radiation. You know how to utilize sunlight. Every organism that possesses natural melanins and possesses natural prokaryotic cells knows how to use sunlight. Everything that's unnatural doesn't. That's how you know it's unnatural. Even organisms at the bottom of the ocean knows how to utilize photons. So you have to know that the only reason why you don't feel in charge of yourself because you live in fear of your own planet. This is why you pay for water. This is why you pay for natural fruits and vegetables and shelter that the earth naturally gives you. Electricity comes out the ground. Water comes out the ground, comes from the sky, but we still got to pay for it because us as a collective, we are in fear of who we truly are, and we are not connected to ourselves, and we're not connected to each other like we used to be. We need to get back to that. The reason why you depend on the system is because you don't depend on your brothers and sisters no more. The same way you look at money, you should be looking at your brothers and sisters.
Facts. And that's why we say to each other, we're the blueprint. It's because of the energy that we have. It's because of what we produce. That's genetic expression. That's consciousness. Being able to create. When y'all talk about these people don't create anything, that's consciousness. Dr. Susano Herculano literally proved the amount of neurons that an organism have is directly connected to how conscious it actually is. And the 100 billion neuron theory was debunked. So these people are not even as smart as we thought that they were. They're around like 86 billion neurons, and that varies due to incomplete dominance. So I don't know who it was, because I was just checking the comments a minute ago. Somebody was like, hope doesn't equal science. Y'all have yet to be able to explain to me the genetic and biological differences between you and them anyways to even understand what the conversation is about. This is about genetics. All right. You hear us talking about the different types of melanin, the 5 basic, the 3 that are synthetic. All right. You hear us in here talking about anatomy, biology, physiology, how the organism actually functions, the cellular form types. Let's not, you know what I'm saying? Let's focus on what the topic is about. Evolution is a genotypic change, so we must discuss the genetics. So when I say hope, I'm talking about there's nothing within the genome that connects them to this globe.
Right. I feel you. Like I said, I feel you 1,000%. Evolution is definitely their theory of, I guess, the creation of them, shall I say, not us. It's their creation of them. And, once you get into it, it's total pseudoscience. It has no relevancy in reality. And the world, though, that's what the knowledge of the world is, though. That's what you learn in school. That's, and when I heard y'all, I said, wow, these sound like like-minded, brothers and sisters, especially you, sis, Sky. I definitely, was intrigued by your words, because I don't hear, like my brother was saying, I do try to depend on our brothers and sisters and befriend them, but you got to understand the ignorance that we surrounded by with our own people too. Like, again, I heard y'all sound so like-minded that I couldn't believe it. I had to tune in because nobody's talking like this. A very few of us are talking like this. So,
Yeah, and actually I want to speak on that because before I actually went live today, I actually loaded up something on my story about this same topic, because everybody is always gung ho on like-minded individuals coming together. But you see how there's 78 people now in the live and we're all in the comments and we don't all agree. So imagine if we all agree with the prompt, but when we decide to build a civilization, we don't all think of life and have the same perspective of it. And this is why I was trying to tell the people in the comments under the post that my latest post, you need knowledge of self first, right? Your physical expression, you're physically learning who you are about your genetics, your biology is giving you more insight about who you are so-called spiritually or esoterically on a solar level, right? Because you are a solar being. So if you know that that you come from the sun, that you get charged up by the sun, that you're the fabric of the universe, you should be able to give me 10 to 20 facts about the universe from micro to macrocosm right now. If you know that that's your genetics and you know that you come from the universe, you should be able to drop 10 universal facts right now. But we're not doing that on this app. So that's what I'm saying. We can't meet off the app in real life to have real conversations if we're not even having real conversations on the app. So that's what I'm saying. It's not about who are the chosen ones. It's about the one that chooses thyself, chooses to gain knowledge of self, because those people will naturally, through an alignment, attract the ones that are vibing at the same speed to exist within the same reality. This is science. Basic universal law. You see what I'm saying? Cause and effect, law of polarity. What you put in is what you get out. What you put in the cosmos, all of us feel through quantum entanglement, whether you're aware of it or not. Whatever thoughts that you're having right now, our people that are on Mars are affected by that thought that you have right now. The ants that are outside, they understand UV. They communicate through it. Your thoughts affect them too. You're communicating and vibing in the same magnetic field that Earth naturally has through her resonance. So everything that is connected to that is connected. That's the law of oneness. That's the universal law of oneness. That's the first law of the universe, is that we are all connected. So if people don't understand that, it is no point in me linking with you, being around you, building a community with you. It's no point, right? I'm gonna come clean. The same brother that told me that responded back saying that to me under the post, that's not somebody that I would have my children around. That's not somebody that my other half would be around. I can tell you that he's not going to be around a brother like that, because that brother eats meat, and meat distorts your reality. If you're eating meat, you're eating these people. You can't come to TikTok and say, damn, these people have pig DNA, but you eat barbecue ribs. Yeah, you eat bacon. Yeah, you can't say, oh, they have chicken DNA, but you finna fry it when you leave the live.
How do you think that affects your path as a neuromelanin being? You think you was ever supposed to come across meat? You think that was supposed to ever come to your taste buds, to your mechanoreceptors in your tongue? It was never supposed to happen. You was never supposed to see these people. You was never supposed to breathe in these people's microbiome. We was never supposed to interact with another species the way we're doing it right now. We're literally handing our next generation, our future, to a foreign species.
Yeah, facts. So that's what I'm saying. You got to know your genetics before you can even be one with nature. You got to know what to be one with and how. That starts with knowledge of self. What can I offer the universe? Who am I? If I'm one with that, how do I embody that if I don't know who I am? So we got to go deeper as a community.
And
I just be using evolution to, you know what I'm saying? Because evolution is something that connects all life forms. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. And just like when the brother
So
said,
you basically saying that
go ahead.
I'm sorry, but you're basically saying all skin folk, not kinfolk, right?
No,
that's not what I'm saying.
You hear me, sis? Saying is that you saying like, okay, you know that what you're speaking is alien to a lot of our brothers and sisters. So yes, I understand, but for somebody that doesn't understand, like, I heard you say, you'll separate yourself and you won't want to be around them, which is That's totally your liberty to do that. But I, would you still share the knowledge and just see? Does it intrigue, or are you just,
when
because
you
we out here, we lost as a people. You know that. Y'all know that.
when
Y'all
when
know
you
that.
when you see brothers and sisters that are asleep and you yourself are the one who knows the truth about the genetics of your people, you should be sharing that light. It's not alien to them because it's in their DNA to be cosmic. It's in their DNA to be a galactic being. You see what I'm saying? They're living like a human now because they're eating outside of their genetic makeup. We've been getting raped, and our reality has been distorted ever since Earth has been moved from her axis 40.4 degrees. That's what's been going on. So less interstellar gases have been coming into the planet and feeding our brain, feeding our lungs, and our brain and lungs and nerves need to all illuminate to receive cosmic frequencies to have higher levels of intellect. And we're not able to do that right now because of the food that we're eating, the carcinogens, the pathogens in the air, and us not relying on our genetics. If you start relying on your genetics and I start relying on my genetics, I don't need to check up on you to see if you're disciplined or not, because I will understand that your genetics is directly connected to mine. So we're gonna have the same path as the same organism to protect our children, to move for the species. Lions already know what they need to do for the species. The male elephants already know what they need to do for the species. You see what I'm saying? They're in constant communication with each other telepathically through morphic resonance.
And that's exactly how we are. We see that on a chemical level. You actually communicate to whoever it is chemically before you even speak words. My other half is sitting next to me. Before I say something to him, I would have already communicated it to him biochemically through my hormones. We see that even throughout pregnancy. We even see that from mother to child or father to child connection, how the daughter actually chemically biochemically increases the oxytocin levels between her and her father, right? We see how the woman can actually increase the prolactin levels up 20% in men to prepare him to be a better father for the child. But she has to be one within herself first. She's got to enter and understand her energy to actually channel that, to use biological, like a biological expression like that, to her ability to actually express that, you know what I'm saying, through a morphic field.
Yep. We're not here to teach our people. We're not here to be prophets. We're here to be examples of our genetic species to show them how they need to be. That's it. Everything on this planet is an example. It's not nothing is, you're your own teacher. You're your own judge. You see what I'm saying? You're your own everything.
But when it comes to the foods, you need to just research your genetics. You see what I'm saying? Every time we start talking about food, then it becomes about food. But you know what I'm saying? I don't really want it to turn into a food thing. All alkaline fruits that are natural and biogenetic to this planet and are native to this planet are fine. So please just research the origin.
Right.
If it is a natural origin and it is alkaline, then it can go in your body. The main thing that you need above all else is sunlight, spring water, and distilled water. Please don't turn this into a question-thon, because when we was talking about the children, it wasn't no questions in the comments and it was barely any comments, all right? As soon as it become about food, then you get 1,000 fucking questions a day. Remember that this is shutting down for our children. Remember that this is all for us to be able to pass down the genetic truth to the next generation. Remember that that's your number one duty every single day. And the best way for you to express your genes is by being in the sun. So if you're going to consume something, it needs to come through natural biogenetic processes. It needs to be native to the land.
Yep.
All land masses, okay? Because all land masses come from the same embryonic origin. They come from the same tectonic processes. I don't understand the motherland versus other land beef. I don't understand that. All the land that is here comes from the same embryonic origin. There is no such thing as other land. Matter of fact, 2023 or 22, what is it? 7,000 to 9,000 new islands were found off of the coast of Japan. New land is being created through tectonic processes every day. We over here fighting over which landmass was first, and our mother is birthing 9,000 new islands off of the coast of Japan. 9,000. 3 years ago. And we're arguing over which landmass is first, yet our mother continues to expand new land for us every single day. All right. So I don't see anybody in the request box. I'm getting ready to head out. I'll be back later. Gratitude and abundance for everybody.